Now, let's continue our discussion. The next thing that we want to discuss is about those people who his fast is not considered valid, but yet he still have to continue to refrain from eating or drinking or doing anything which could break his fasts. At the same time, he still have to do qada. He still have to do qada, which means he has to make up his fast. Number one, upon those people who did not do intention at the night time of fasting of Ramadan. If he comes upon Ramadan and then at the eve of that day he didn't fast, then he still has to continue to refrain from eating and drinking and doing anything which could break his fast. Then when Ramadan ends, he has to make up the fast on that day. It is because in Madhab Shafi'i, our scholars looked at that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made two obligations upon a person. Number one, it is obligatory upon him to do intention at the evening, at the night time before he fasts. And then number two, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has instructed him to refrain from eating and drinking and doing anything that could break his fast in the daytime of Ramadan. So if he forgets to do the intention, it is still obligatory upon him to continue to refrain from eating and drinking and anything which could break his fast. Number two, upon those people who has exceeded the time of Fajr while eating sahur. He has been eating sahur, eating and eating, while he did not realize that Fajr time has entered. That is why it is very important for us to observe imsak 10 minutes before Fajr. Only 10 minutes to make sure that your fasting is valid. Now, for someone who eat and eat and eat, and then he entered time of Fajr while not realizing that the time of Fajr has entered, then only he realized that Fajr time has entered while he knows that he has eaten during the time of Fajr. He still have to continue to refrain from eating and drinking for the rest of the day, and he has to refrain from anything which could break his fast until the sunset. And don't forget, he still has to make up the fast for that day. Number three, upon those people who accidentally do iftar before the sun sets. Now, in that situation, once he finds out that he has eaten before the Maghrib comes in, he has to continue to refrain from eating and drinking until the sun completely sets. Then only he can eat and drink. At the same time, he has to make up that day that he has missed. Number four, upon those people who they found out that the 30th of Sha'ban was actually first Ramadan, and this happens maybe because of some witnesses, they came late to the Islamic Council, or the Islamic Council couldn't prove that it was actually first Ramadan. Then subsequently the evidences and witnesses come in, so the Islamic Council will go and tell people, oh people, today is not 30th of Sha'ban, today is first Ramadan. Therefore, the moment you hear that it was the first of Ramadan, you have to refrain yourself from eating and drinking until the sun sets, and then you have to make up the fast that you miss on that day. And number five, upon those people who intentionally break their fast in the daytime of Ramadan. You know, in reality, no one is allowed to break their fast in the daytime of Ramadan if it's obligatory upon them to fast. However, if he breaks his fast intentionally, he goes and eat, he go and drink, for example, or he does anything that could nullify the fast, then he should continue to refrain from eating and drinking and doing anything that could break the fast for the rest of the day until the sun sets. Number six, upon those people who has excessively gargled, or they have put water in their nose excessively. Now, what does excessive means? Excessive means to gargle a lot. like you put the water until the throat while doing wudu, for example, or when you put the water in the nose while doing wudu and you suck it into your nose. You know, it is sunnah to do excessive gargle and to put a lot of water in your nose and then take it out back. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Wabaligh fil istinshaqi illa an takuna sa'ima." You should be excessive in your putting water in your nose unless you are fasting, because that would nullify your fast. Now, excessively gargling and then excessively putting water in your nose will definitely break your fast. And another thing is that you have to be careful not to do it more than 3 times, because if you do it more than 3 times, then anything that enters your mouth, even if it was an accidental, it will break your fast. But if you remain within 3 times and you don't do it excessively, if you accidentally swallowed something, then it is forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.